Doctor, one moment, please. We've heard that you recommended that these children should be treated at a hospital for the subnormal. Now, is that correct?
It is, yes.
And yet, here you are now telling us that they were not subnormal, quite the contrary.
Potentially to the contrary. Don't let us get confused.
Oh, but I am.
Well, their behavior was far from normal. Both children were excessively disturbed, in fact. Negative and withdrawn, incontinent, capable of erratic outbursts, tantrums, most disturbed.
But not an organic disturbance.
Nope.
Although they behaved subnormally, you decided that they weren't.
Well, the pathogenesis was external, provoked by their environment.
Surroundings.
Ergo, by changing that environment, I hoped to relieve the condition.
Yeah.
Of course, I would have preferred to send them to one of the special schools which cater for this type of child, but unfortunately at the time, the only vacancies were in the rehabilitation wing of the hospital.
Yes, I see, thank you, yes.
So, in effect, their cure, as you saw it, was to get them away from their mother.
Yes. Well, from what I could gather, she'd had a pretty disturbed childhood herself, over strict parents, emotionally deprived. The result, the usual paradox, a craving for love and affection, and yet inhibited against expressing it herself. Similarly, there were a lot of domestic tensions, cash worries, job problems, cultural disparities. Welsh wife, Maltese husband. A lot of rowing going on in the home, even some violence. And there again, she herself tended to be very neurotic about the children. She had a fetish about cleanliness, discipline, their health. Almost unsatisfactory.
You say neurotic, Doctor. Would you go further and describe her behavior as psychotic?
No, I would not.
She was not psychotic?
No.
And then when you examined her last month in the prison hospital, psychotic then?
No. Disturbed, yes. Inclined to be depressed. Well, naturally, in view of the circumstances.
But not psychotic?
No.
Delusions?
Well, she denied that the twins were dead. However...
Yes?
I concluded this was a conscious lie. She'd fixed on all this spiritual possession idea. Well, I mean, that was a natural extension to her cleanliness fetish, her thing about contamination. Yes, her thing about contamination. But it was apparent to me that she had fixed on this possession idea as a cover, as an excuse for her actions.
As an excuse?
Yes, and one which she was acting up for the benefit of her psychotherapist.
She was acting it up. Thank you, Doctor.
Dr. Beale. Oh. You did not examine Mrs. Pateri immediately after she was taken into custody last August?
No.
Did you, Dr. Beale?
No.
No. In fact, you saw her only the once in the hospital.
Yes?
Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And that after she'd been under intensive treatment from Dr. Morton here for fully 7 months.
Hardly intensive.
No. 20 therapeutic sessions, including the use of antidepressant drugs and electroconvulsive therapy to combat mutism and retrospective amnesia.
Well, perhaps, but...
With respect, Doctor, I suggest you're basing a great deal on assumptions. And those formed nearly a year earlier when you were treating the children.
Now, look,